Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to just talk to you guys about the COPPA requirement and something that the FTC came out with as of November 22nd, providing some additional clarity and information to YouTube channel owners, helping you understand whether or not your content, your channel is directed to children. In the description box, I'm going to leave a few links. I'm going to leave a link to that November 22nd, 2019 blog post that the FTC provided. I'm also going to leave a link to the actual complaint filed against Google and YouTube by the FTC, so you can read that complaint for yourself. Within that complaint, you will also see a hyperlink to the actual court filing that the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they brought a complaint against Google and its subsidiary, YouTube. They made an allegation, and based on that allegation, YouTube chose to enter into a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. And that settlement came out to be $170 million. $136 million of that went to the FTC and $34 million went to New York. Okay. And because of that settlement, YouTube entered into an agreement to do certain things to comply with COPPA. And that's what brings us to where we are today in this discussion of COPPA. Okay. So with the new COPPA requirements that YouTube is implementing, they also revised their terms and agreement. So that COPPA requirement doesn't take effect until January 1st, 2020. And YouTube's new revised terms and agreement, or terms and conditions, they call it, that doesn't go into effect until December 10th, 2019. So let me restate that. YouTube's new COPPA requirement, not the COPPA law, but YouTube's COPPA requirement doesn't go into effect until January 1st, 2020. And again, YouTube's revised terms and conditions don't go into effect until December 10th. And again, in this video, I'm going to also leave a link with the YouTube COPPA requirements and YouTube's current and revised terms and conditions. And I might also do another video on their terms and conditions because I found that to be interesting. If you are a user of YouTube or you are a content creator, you should absolutely always read the terms and conditions of the platforms that you're using. So I'll leave a little helpful link below in the description box. So hopefully you'll take a look at it. But right now, the FTC is basically providing strict oversight over YouTube, that platform, and other social media platforms. I absolutely think that they're next, and they're probably already revising their terms and conditions, and they're ensuring that they are in compliance with the COPPA requirements and things of that nature. So that's next, in my humble opinion. So right now, the FTC, they're accepting comments to some proposed revisions that they want to make to the COPPA law, and they're accepting your comments until December 9th, 2019. As of this video right now, that's the date that they've provided. I'm also going to leave a link where you can leave a comment. When leaving your comment, just be mindful. You want to be respectful, of course. You want to be as detailed as possible. Provide examples as to why, you know, family-friendly content should remain on YouTube. If you watch certain content with your children for educational purposes or just for fun, you want to make mention of those. If you have questions, you want to ask them specific questions. They are actually reading your comments, and it is open to content creators to provide commentary, feedback, and it's also open to the general public. As a homeschooling, after schooling parent, I did a search on their site for comments under the word homeschooling, and as of this video, there were only 6 or 7. Guys, as homeschoolers and as after schooler, that just simply means your child is in public or private school, and you may be providing some assistance to them, like tutoring or part-time homeschooling during extended vacations or during the summer, or you are a full-time homeschooling parent. Regardless of which journey you're taking, a lot of the content on YouTube we use. Think about it. Your Khan Academy, your crash courses, Math Mammoth and her tutorials, Math Antics. Do you watch art videos, arts and craft videos? How about tutorials, makeup tutorials, watercolor tutorials, painting? How about those geography channels that help your student understand various aspects of the world? All of this content could potentially be impacted. It may and may not. We don't know. We're all learning at the same time. We're all gathering information, asking questions. We're all attending the FTC's workshops to better understand the COPPA law. So get engaged, put your comments out there, ask your questions using the link in the description box to provide valuable feedback and recommendations, because again, the FTC, they're accepting those comments until December 9th, 2019. So what's the big deal? The big deal, guys, is that when you think about the COPPA law, it strictly deals with collecting PII, which is personal identifiable information. It relates to collecting and disseminating PII and information, even if it's by online entities like YouTube for the purpose of advertisement. By them collecting that data on persons under the age of 13, that's where the risk comes in. That is the problem. But as a content creator, the FTC has a proposed recommendation for the COPPA law that makes content creators operators. They will deem us as operators. And that's a big deal. And that's why you want to go there and make a comment, because if they deem us as operators, we become liable, right? But at the same time, we do not have control over YouTube's operations, Google's operations. We don't have control over whether or not YouTube collects PII from adults or from persons under the age of 13. We don't even have any type of stake or say in how they collect the data. Again, whether it be from kids or from adults. We don't know how they market our channels. We have no control over whether or not they market our channels for the purpose of advertisement. We do not even have a say in YouTube's terms and conditions or their policies. So to consider content creators as operators for the purpose of assuming risk makes absolutely no sense in my humble. But guys, YouTube is a business, okay? And they're trying to identify their risk. They're trying to mitigate risk. They're trying to identify where they're vulnerable and mitigate those vulnerabilities. So that's what it is. Now, in terms of homeschooling and after schooling videos, when you watch homeschooling and after schooling videos, you sometimes show your kids. Okay, you'll see kids in the videos. We are reviewing educational resources or items. We may do interviews with children under the age of 13. We may do day in the life, homeschool day in the life. We'll show you examples of us teaching our children. We will show you preschool content. We'll show you toys that we're using for educational purposes. We'll showcase hauls with items that may, be considered as appealing and attractive to children. We may show you arts and craft. We may read poems and stories and etc. to our children within those videos. And some of those things that I mentioned are considered to be content directed to children, at least at first glance, right? At least at first glance. But because of that November 22nd, 2019 blog post that was provided by FTC, I really don't think that homeschooling channels have anything to worry about specifically with this COPPA regulation or COPPA law. I think we're fine. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, when you think about those channels that we have our children watch for educational purposes or for just fun, family friendly content, those channels may be at risk. Okay. So let me go ahead and read. Let's read it. Under COPPA or COPPA, there is no one-size-fits-all answer about what makes a site directed to children, but we can offer some guidance. To be clear, your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. Whew, we can breathe a little, right? We can breathe now. Just because Some children may see your content, doesn't mean your channel or content is directed to children. However, if your intended audience is kids under 13, you're covered by COPPA and you have to honor COPPA's rules. So if you are making videos that are specifically for kiddos who are under 13 and it's on the YouTube platform and not on YouTube Kids, then you have a problem because you need to abide by COPPA's rules. Let me say something really quick. So YouTube did a sweep, right? They did a sweep of every single channel, every single video, using some type of robot mechanism, automated method, to flag various videos that they felt meet the requirements of COPPA. And then they automatically made the decision to turn that video into directed for children. And that was their first attempt. But they also put out a video that said, although they did that, do not rely on YouTube because errors can occur. And it is your responsibility, content creator, to go through every single one of your videos to ensure you comply by making videos that may seem to be or that blatantly are child directed. You need to mark them appropriately by January 1st, or you may be held accountable. Okay. And they also say if you need assistance in making a determination as to whether or not your content, your channel is child directed, please consult a lawyer because they cannot give you legal advice. So with that said, it's on us as content creators to make an informed decision, and you better hope that decision is the right one. Okay. So here are some of the rules that are stated by COPPA. Okay, it says the rule sets out additional factors that the FTC, again, Federal Trade Commission, will consider in determining whether your content is child directed. The subject matter, visual content, the use of animated characters or child oriented activities and incentives, the kind of music or other audio content, the age of models, the presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the site, whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children. That's a sneaky one because if I have my channel monetized and YouTube decides to put an ad that promotes or appears to be directed to children, that is not my fault. I have no say in that. And it also says incompetent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. So if I put as my channel description or my video description that this is made for kids, or this is for children, or this is for kids under the age of 13, then that is blatant evidence that the channel or the video itself that I'm uploading meets the COPPA requirement. Okay, so it gives you some additional information. It also says the determination of whether content is child directed will be clearer in some contexts than in others. Obvious, right? But they say they can share some general rules of thumb. It says first, unless you're affirmatively targeting kids, there may be some subject matter categories where you don't have to worry about COPPA. Wonderful. So unless you are blatantly targeting kids, unless the video you're uploading or the channel that you have is specifically for kids, then you're probably not covered. It also says here, for example, if your videos are about traditionally adult activities like employment, finances, politics, home ownership, home improvement, or travel, you're probably not covered unless your content is geared towards kids. That makes sense. Okay. Kids aren't going to watch that, right? The same would be true for videos aimed at high school or college kids. Babies aren't going to watch that. 5-year-olds aren't going to watch that. Kids under the age of 13 normally won't watch that. Let me see. It says, on the other hand, if your content includes traditional children's pastimes or activities, it may be child directed. Okay. So if your channel is all about teaching children how to read or math or ABCs, phonics, and your channel is speaking directly to them, then yeah, your audience is intended for children. It should be labeled as such. But again, when thinking about homeschooling videos and after schooling videos, our videos are not normally geared towards children where we are speaking to them. They're our audience. We are presuming that they're sitting there watching our videos, even for educational purposes. We normally upload videos about curriculum choices, our journey, a day in the life of what we're doing, our progress, reviews, hauls, or just having a conversation about life in general in terms of being a homeschooling parent. So that's why I'm thinking we don't really have anything to worry about. Now, if there are videos in your channel or on your channel, like me, where I have a few videos where I am literally speaking to children ages 2 to 5, and I am teaching a particular topic, then yes, those videos are child directed, and I've already made them private. And if I kept some up, then I've made them child directed. I labeled them properly. I'm going to continue with the November 22nd, 2019 blog post update from FTC. It continues. Second, just because your video has bright colors or animated characters doesn't mean you're automatically covered by COPPA or COPPA. Now, when they say covered by COPPA, that means you are required to abide by the law. So just because your video has bright colors or you have animated characters, that doesn't mean you have to follow the COPPA law, okay? You still in that sense may not be considered child directed, okay? It also says while many animated shows are directed to kids, the FTC recognizes there can be animated programming that appeals to everyone. So that should allow us to breathe a little better, a little better. It continues. Third, the complaint in the YouTube case offers some examples of channels the FTC considered to be directed to children. So they even gave you examples of what the FTC considered to be child directed, so you can have a benchmark. On YouTube, some of these channels are also on YouTube Kids, but the problem is the fact that they're also on YouTube. They should not be on YouTube because, again, YouTube is for ages 13 and up. So some of those channels are okay. Cartoon Network, Hasbro, DreamWorks TV, Masha and Bear, Bratatele, I think it's the right name. Cookie Swirl C, Sandaroo Kids, Toy Scouter, Mattel. These are some channels on YouTube that are part of the complaint that shouldn't be on YouTube. They should be on YouTube Kids. So when you look back at the complaint, the FTC in New York basically said, you are not supposed to be marketing YouTube to persons under the age of 13. And you said you weren't. However, when looking at emails, when looking at your marketing strategies and processes, you do market to those groups that you shouldn't, because here's the proof. Here are the channels. You can't say you didn't know because you did know. You told your advertisers, hey, we market to persons under the age of 13. We market to persons ages 0 to 7. And in your marketing, you place ads on those channels that you know kids under the age of 13 are watching. And in the process of those ads, you are tracking the user's interest. You are tracking what they're watching. And based on that, you are providing interest-based ads. And that is the issue. That's the problem. You're tracking what they consider, FTC, what they consider to be personal identifiable information. It continues here in the blog post. It says some of the channel owners also enabled settings that made their content appear when users searched the names for popular toys or animated characters. In my opinion, that's probably talking about tags, for example. I create a video, I put tags, so when you, the viewer, search for a particular topic, the video pops up, okay? It also says, finally, if you've applied the factors listed in the COPPA rule, remember those factors that I listed out to you earlier? Subject matter, visual content, the use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives, the kind of music or audio, the presence of child celebrities, language or other characteristics, advertising that promotes or appears on the site that is directed to children, age of models, those rules there. It says if you applied those rules and you still wonder whether or not your content is directed to children, it might help if you consider how others view your content. And you might consider other content that's similar to yours to make the determination. Ask yourself these questions. Has your channel been reviewed on sites that evaluate content? Is your channel or channels like yours mentioned in blogs for parents of young children? Or are they in media articles that are directed to children? Have you surveyed your users? Or is there other empirical evidence about the age of your audience? So that tells us as content creators, here are some questions that you can ask yourself to help you determine whether or not your channel or content is directed to children. What are the penalties? To give us a reminder, the rule allows for civil penalties up to $42,530 per violation. But it also says here, but the FTC considers a number of factors in determining the appropriate amount, including a company's financial condition and impact a penalty could have on its ability to stay in business. Okay? And it ends by letting you know that the FTC is taking another look at the COPPA law, and they're evaluating the rules that I mentioned in light of rapid changes in technology. And if you would like to comment, they have a hyperlink there, so you can also click there to go ahead and comment on the effectiveness of the COPPA rule and whether changes are needed. They've extended the comment deadline as of this video to December 9th, 2019. Again, please go make a comment, even if the comment is for family-friendly channels, even if the comment is for the educational channels that you use for your homeschool or that you use for your children who are enrolled in public or private school full-time. Leave a comment, let them know. Again, be respectful, give examples, be polite, be detailed, provide facts. No grunting. They don't need the back and forth of, bad language, or you're just sitting there and saying what they're doing wrong. No. Let's provide useful comments as a homeschool community. All right. I hope this video was helpful. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, I don't remember if I said this or not, but they did a sweep of my channel to determine if any of my personal content was child directed, and they identified 6 or 7 videos. But the funny part, guys, is the videos that they identified, I wouldn't consider to be child directed. And all the videos that I have that I now put as private, or I mark them myself, because I was literally talking to 2 to 5-year-olds, ages 2 to 5. I was teaching numbers, teaching phonics, teaching letter sounds, teaching math in short videos so that your children could watch them any time of the day to keep them occupied. None of those videos were flagged. Okay. So again, if you create content and you're in the homeschooling, after schooling, community, please don't rely on YouTube. Go through your content, mark them appropriately. Yes, if you do mark them as child directed, if you are monetized, you will lose 60 to 90% of your revenue, but you won't get charged up to $43,000. Okay. Yes, that those videos that you mark, unfortunately, they won't be searchable. You can't put notifications. You can't put them in a watch later list or in a playlist, so it makes it difficult for viewers to even find. However, I think as time goes by, as more information is provided from FTC and YouTube, I don't think we will be impacted at all or as much. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, go make a comment, like this video, share this video, and as always, keep homeschooling on. Make it a great day, and check out my other video where I will dive into the terms and conditions of YouTube's policies that take effect January 10th, 2019. Bye.